Hi guys, and welcome to this series on Ethereum mining, how to go about it. And I've split this up into a couple sections, even though I recorded the content in one go, and I'm splitting it up. But basically the first section is going to be called what is it and hardware advice, where I talk about kind of hardware you need to get started. In the second part, I go through options for mining software, how I run them, and I give advice on that. And I go through a couple of live demos of running two different miners, and I give some pros and cons on them. And in the last one, I go into detail on how to be profitable, which is the whole point of mining. Even though it has been a whole lot of fun just trying out, given I enjoy tech stuff, and yeah. But I hope you would enjoy this journey in terms of learning and maybe making a rig of your own, because time is running out with regards to Ethereum. Price is dropping. At least today, it's going down, but it's probably just a downward tick. But with the growing concerns of the DAG file, so I talk about the DAG file. I talk about recent challenges that Ethereum has been having. They also had hard fork, the soft fork, the hard fork, the issue with the DAO. And some hacker almost walking away with some $60 million. So they did a hard fork to basically stop that from happening. And so it's been an interesting history for this new blockchain smart contract based platform. So basically the content that I've prepared is basically stuff I've learned by working on this for the last 2 weeks or so, and I have invested well beyond $2,000 in hardware to get this up and running. So I hope you can appreciate the time I have put in, an effort to make this video series essentially. So all I'm asking for is basically, let me pull up. I don't have, ironically, anything here that's going to do the job to make this large on screen. So I'm going to pull up the most horrid piece of software just to I never really use Word on PC anymore, on Mac or PC. I use Google Drive, but I'm going to make an exception here. And oh my gosh, there we go. How do you make the font size larger? So basically, I'm going to include this bit of text in the what do you call, bottom of the video. So if you look down there, you'll have this as like the first paragraph. So what I'm saying is, it would be great if you can send me beer money for this. I don't care how big or small. Any donation at all will be appreciated. Those who send donations, I will answer your questions. I'm sure you'll have some questions, right? So when you're asking a question in the comments, please mention two things. How you sent your donation, whether it was PayPal, you sent me ETH, or you sent me Bitcoin, right? And you need to send me a reference. So I don't need you to publicly disclose your PayPal email, but there'll be a reference with every PayPal payment. It's like a code basically. Just copy and send me the code. And what is it? For ETH and Bitcoin, you can send me the transaction hash basically. So for those who are wondering what's the transaction hash, here's an example. This is one of my wallets, so you can even send to this wallet. Now I received some funds from Ethermine for mining earlier this day. So if I were to go here, see it says TXT hash. this is a transaction. So all you need to send me is this long snippet, because what I can do then, I can just click on that and I can correlate that you've actually sent me a donation, and I can also see that you've sent it to my wallet, or the other wallet listed in the description. So either wallet is fine. And so let me just put up two things on screen, which would, whoops, sorry about me, technical difficulties. Let me find what I'm looking for. Ethereum, screencast, right? Yeah, here we go. So this is going to be easy for you guys, because smartphones are the rage right now, right? So here you go. This is one, you can use your smartphone and you can either hold it up to this if you want to send either to me. It should be able to recognize this QR code, and it'll plunk it into your wallet or device. So I will leave that up on screen for a moment while I make I'm actually going to move it down here, sorry. Whoops, there we go. While I make one tweak here to my document, basically. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add hold on, I'm going to add the other, what is it called, Ethermine wallet as well to do the same thing. So because you guys might get a bit confused, so either wallet is fine, it doesn't matter. So Ethereum, you can send that. I'll just say or so both wallets are fine. So it's basically going to be that. So I'm going to remove this off screen because it's going to be copied into the videos when I upload them. And just to give you guys, so yeah, so that's if you want to send me Ether. If you want to send me some Bitcoin, I'm going to keep that up on screen. So the way I plan the series is in these three parts. There might be a fourth part at the end. The idea is that it's best if you follow them in order, because during the process of recording, I kind of started jumping around from one point to another across segments. So you will find me referring to stuff in part 1 and 2 in most likely part 3. So if you don't follow the order, you might find yourself end up being a bit confused. So try and go through the thing as a series, right? So I'll try and split them up and keep them as short as possible, but I've ended up talking quite a bit because there's quite a bit of content to go through. So apologies in advance if the episodes are pretty long. I will do my best to upload the content in 4K. It's going to be upsampled 4K, but still it'll look pretty good. So that's the idea. So anyways, thanks again. I do hope you guys don't mind my asking for some kind of donation for doing this work for you guys. Another tip, you can also, I will also include in the doc, email. So for those wanting to reach out to me, I'm going to include this here. Let's look at the setup I'm running at the moment, right? So just to bring my setup on screen. So what you're looking at is, I can kill my miner. No, let me not do that. Let me just switch folders. Where am I? That's on the root folder. Okay, we don't need to be on root. Okay, well, too much stuff on my screen. Let's open new terminal. Okay. Oops. So so basically I'm running Linux. This is Ubuntu. Chinoil? No, that's not the one. Oh, so I got different miners basically, right? But the one I'm running is Claymore. Ethereum CD Ethereum Claymore. And if I list it, so this is the folder. You can see there are a lot of log files, df, dash s star underscore log. Let's see if that oh sorry, that's the wrong command, I think. There you go, du. Yeah, so you can see the log files are pretty okay. It's not taking up too much disk space. That's what I want to check. So these are log files from the Claymore miner, and the Claymore miner has a couple important files. So the biggest question, so you guys will be wondering, okay, what is this Claymore miner? Where do I get it from? GitHub Claymore. Right, so go here. I'm going to put this link into the doc as well. So let's copy that. Claymore dual miner, Windows, Linux. I'm recommending this because it also works on Windows and it's pretty trouble-free. There's something called dev fee. Basically, the developer gets like 1% of everything you mine, but he's already made over $1 million, so I don't think it really matters in that sense. But some people feel like they are being robbed, so and that's also the reason why I have compiled other miners. So in the future, I might switch actually, or I might actually do the switch in this video live. Let's do that because I've already configured mine. So this is Claymore. You just go here, read to the README. You'll find there are different versions. Here you go, Windows download. So these are, you end up with binaries, well, zip files, and you extract them. In Windows, it's a zip file. In Linux, it's a tar file, tarball. And in both, essentially, you will have, on Linux, you have scripts, so shell scripts, bash or whatever. And then you have the dpool, epool. So these come with some standard configs. You just need to change them according to the instructions. It's very, very, very obvious. Actually, whoops, it may not be so obvious for you guys, right? So let me go back. I don't want to show the contents of Claymore. I can't type today at all, right? Okay, Claymore back up on screen. Sorry. Oh, it doesn't show the contents here, does it? Oh, okay. But never mind. I think I can show you mine. It's not that damaging. What I want? Oh, I'm on the wrong. Oh yeah, I can do it here. Let's open epools. You'll just basically see the address to which I'm mining, but that's all right. So you can see here my pool is, I'm mining to Ethermine. The format changes, and you can see I've got my Ether wallet address there, and .skylake1. So I've given my machine a name called Skylake1 basically. And I'm going to move this across, by the way, just to the left, and I'm going to bring this in on screen so you can see my, it's the same address. It matches here. You need to have the 0 slide because this is what we call in hex style format. So you want that 0x to start off, right? And then if I had to close that and we look at dpool, it's the same. So it normally comes with docs on how to change, but you just need to change the pool servers and again the wallets. Just make sure they're all consistent, right? That's all you need to do there. And then start only eth is the one that you're going to be playing with if you want to do Ether. So I've modified mine. So these are bog standard from the file. These are custom settings I've added in. So basically on my cards, right, I've got two GTX 1070s at the moment in my box, and I've overclocked the memory pretty extreme to 1300 clock. This is above the stock clock. I've just this is not really neat. I could remove this. I earlier did a core. I bumped up the core speed earlier, but now I've put it back to normal just to save power. And then the important command is this one. You specify the pool that you want, the primary pool server you want to mine to. Then you specify the wallet address and your rig, and that's just the standard password. Mode 1 means only mine with the dual miner software, so you can mine multiple things with it. So I'm only mining ETH. And this is like when there's like I think a failure, it'll switch pool servers. You can read the docs, the specifications in the docs if you want to learn more about those. And I've done a custom script for myself called reduce power limit, and I wrote this myself. So I'm basically setting GPU, so it goes like in computing, in arrays and stuff, you always count the first position as 0. You use 0 as the starting point. So this is like card 1 and card 2. And I'm basically setting the power to 100 on each. And I can show you that on my rig. So if I do NVIDIA SMI, you will see here, it shows that I've got 2 cards, right? One's on PCIe slot 1, one's on PCIe slot 2. And you'll be like, oh, how do I know that? Well, how does LS PCI grep? Oh, LS PCI. Yeah, I told you I can't type here, right? There we go. So this is the one that reports to say which slots we're on. So this matches. That's on slot 1. That's on slot 2. They've detected correctly. The DAG file's grown. Because you can see I'm using more memory than I did last week, I would say. And you can see the power limit is 100. Now, before I did the power limit adjustment, these cards were pulling 150 watts each. So I basically saved 100 watts right there just by doing one tweak, and that's a fair bit of savings, right? And my hash rate also went up quite a lot. Just so out of the box, the cards were getting much less. I think it was around 40-ish. Sorry, around 50 something. But with the memory overclock to 1300, it went up by 10 million hashes per second, basically mega hashes per second. So that was a decent improvement. And I've got one rejected share out of 2620, and that's probably due to my extreme overclock. And so it's been pretty stable at 30 mega hashes on each card. Sometimes it drops to 29, but most of the time it's quite good. I can go back and you can see, so there are sprints of shares. So this is the one I talk about. Claymore uses what's called a dev fee. So that guy basically he got 1 share worth in that at that time lot. And so that's my server. So I'm basically SSH in right now. So I can disconnect on SSH. I can SSH back in from my local Mac into my Linux box. I've set up this Linux box. I will put a link in the video where I talk about my vlogging rig, and so I've got a video up on my channel. If you go to my channel and you look at vlog, no, not the tequila, workstation walkthrough, it's getting there. I just put a clip there. So you want to see what equipment I have. My existing hardware. In that video I'm going to display it for you guys. I'll just knock the audio off. Hopefully it'll buffer out. My connection is lagging behind today. Yeah, so this is the one. So I don't need to pan my camera. I can just play the video and show you the Linux box. So this was set up with Ubuntu 16.04, and it has Unity set up by default, but I just only use Unity just to log in. Unfortunately, I encrypted the root partition, and the downside of that is none of the services start until I log in manually, because until the partition's decrypted, it can't start SSH or anything of the sort. So that's a bit of pain. But this is my Linux box. It's a basic PC, right? I've not built a mining rig. This is my basic productivity rig. It's got a 1080. I'm getting about 20 plus 21, 22 mega hashes per second on that. I'm just going to jump back again. So this gives me about 20. Yeah. So let's compare. If I scroll down, you'll see Broadwell E, because this is a 850K. I have another vlog on my channel where I did the whole build process. And so you can see that's getting 23.2 mega hashes a second. The Skylake, so that's a 1080, right? GTX 1080. Founders Edition, Zotac, and on that card, I've also done some clock changes. So with regards to the 1080 on my productivity rig, that's also been underclocked essentially. So I've been keeping a log of settings and stuff I've been doing. So it's a Zotac GTX 1080 Founders Edition. Stock memory speed is 10,000 megahertz. So what I did was I applied plus 500 megahertz overclock. So it's overclocked by 1000 megahertz effectively. And I pushed the power limit really low, 50%. I kept the core clock to 0 basically, so there's no clock on the GPU core. And in Claymore, it goes from 21, 22 to 23. And that's why we can see here the hashing rate is shown as 23. This is, so I had to basically stop and come back and work on this vlog. So as of about, if you were to go back about 5 minutes in the video, you'd have seen that the unpaid balance on my account was so much, and since then I've received a payout. So let's take a look. I'm just refreshing it now to see the latest stats. I received a payout. I've set payouts at every 0.05 ETH, or ETH as some people call it. Oh, that's strange. I'm not sure what's up with my connection today. Why is that lagging so much? There we go. Okay, so yeah, I've had a payout, and it's well, it's already accrued about 7% since that previous figure. So it's hashing along quite quickly. And what was interesting in this thing, when I go to look at payout info. Okay, well, seriously, I think something's really up with my network today. Bear with me, guys. Let's see. So on my WAN, so this is an interesting one. I'm basically SSH into my router. Oh, okay, it's not me. There's an issue with Ethermine essentially. This is an Ubiquiti router. You'll find I have spoken about this in my previous vlogs. So I'm always SSH into my router, and so I can see my WAN speed. So I can just keep this up on screen just for kicks, guys. You can see there's a bad. Okay, yeah. So basically their host has gone down. So anyway, I still have the account up here. So we should be able to see the payment I just got 2 hours ago. Yeah, they paid out at 4.49 ETH. And yeah, I was trying to show you guys. Oh yeah, that's on the previous slide. It shows the duration, the delta. It basically calculates the time difference between these two. Basically, it was showing about 30 hours. Oh, here we go. Yeah, so my duration is 30 hours to get an ETH payment of 0.049. And this is an interesting chart, because this is going to show that every month I should essentially earn somewhere around 339 USD, which is actually a pretty good figure, because this is earnings prior to subtracting the power costs that I spoke about before. So we have to, oh, that's an error here, it's kilowatt hours, where to deduct the cost of power from this figure, right? So I'm going to come back to the projections and the what do you call estimated profitability of this.